Hi, my name's Jada, and this is Food for You, a podcast where we talk about how to cook food healthily and more affordably at home. This week, we're actually going to be doing chicken and dumplings, and I have a special guest with us, but she's having a snack break. So, to get started off, you can either boil or pick up a rotisserie chicken, which is what I did because it's going to make this 10 times easier. So first I'm just going to actually start by pulling off the chicken, and while I do that, she'll eventually come in and help. This is a traditional, southern meal. It's basically just balls of dough that it's cooked into, cooked in like a creamy chicken soup.
10 years later.
Let's snap into action, baby. Jada, I've learned I don't know how to do this. You gotta let me
Make chicken and dumplings?
No, get my weasels out in front of a camera.
My. I'd like to welcome Mia to the party.
I'm still enjoying snack breaks. It's a necessary part of the process. We're just getting all the goods off of the chicken and then eating the skin because we don't need her. I don't want that. That's nasty. Ew.
We can do the chicken dance.
Yeah, when we're done, we should clap and do the chicken dance and spin around. I don't know how to do the chicken dance.
I don't either.
It's okay, we did it. That's
it was
our
stuck in my
dance.
head the other day.
Food for You chicken dance right now. So we just shredded into some nice chunks. I don't know how to do chicken.
Okay. Chicken stock, cans of soup.
Indeed.
The cans of soup are 2 cream of chicken soups,
1 cream of celery, and 1 cream of mushroom. All of them. I know it sounds like a lot.
We use a whole box of chicken stock, right?
Yes. Whole box of chicken stock, and then
whole rotisserie chicken or equivalent.
Yeah.
Boiled chicken.
That just takes a long time. And
this meal already takes a while to cook.
And this chicken was only like $5. Chicken pie is probably about the same price, really, but
why don't you do this?
What? Into the pot. Save the goods.
Yeah, how bad these.
It's okay. Condensed soup won't feel like condensed soup when we're done with this. Sometimes you gotta give it a nice good shake. Okay, now we fill each one of these with milk. Spilling milk. Also a requirement.
We don't sob over spilled milk.
No, there are way better things to sob about. I should have stirred that. That's fine. We get a spoon. Scrape out all the goods. It's important to annoy Jada in the process.
There's something we're missing. We need water.
Uh-huh.
And can you save one of the cans for me and I'll add water to it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Usually this part is done already on the stove, so at this point it's going to look really gross and weird.
I don't think I'd be telling them that.
Why? Why not warn them?
They're going to see it on the stove here in a minute.
Then it will look creamy and delicious. Trust the process. Here's your can.
Then add
Something that you should know is that Jada is the dumpling master.
We make big dumplings.
Not no sad little Cracker Barrel style dumplings. No diss to Cracker Barrel, I guess. But
You just did.
I took it back. It's fine. No hate on Cracker Barrel. Just kind of low key hate on the chicken and dumplings because this is so good.
And then add 2 cans of water.
Like
2
4 cans of water. I already added one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like 4 cans of water. About the same amount as like the chickens.
To go on the stove on medium.
Medium, high. Let it get warmed up. Stop being funky. Having the viral frozen for riot grapes.
I have to wait to add this in.
Hold it. It's like really sour for like 2 seconds. And then it's really sweet and yummy, actually.
But gas.
You know how Sour Patch Kids say that they're sour than sweet, but they're not actually really sour. This is how I feel about that, except they are actually sour.
Okay, so the chicken soup kind of mixture has been cooking for probably about 15 minutes. It's gonna cook for a really long time. We're gonna go ahead and season this. I'm not gonna measure anything. I didn't last time and it seemed easy enough. So probably that much celery seed. Then we're adding our salt. You don't need very much salt either. After that, pepper. We're gonna add a lot of pepper. A whole bunch of pepper. Then garlic. We're gonna a whole bunch of that too. And then I do a little bit of onion powder. Probably half the amount you did of the garlic. Put parsley in. And stir. And basically what we're doing is we're waiting for all this to get really nice and thick. And you'll notice whenever it starts to thicken up. Once it starts to thicken up, then we're gonna go ahead and make our dumplings and drop those into this. And then the dumplings will cook in this on a boil. This is when we're going to add your veggies. You can do canned veggies or frozen or fresh, probably even. Just be mindful of cook times. So I'm going to go and toss in probably, you're probably going to want like 1 to 2 cups of veggies. Like I'm going to add more in here because there's not enough. And this makes it very much like chicken pot pie dumplings, which is kind of fun. Okay, so now this is gonna cook for probably about another 15-20 minutes before, yeah, bring this whole pot to a boil. And whatever is left over this can be frozen and reheated. It's set for the dumplings. Those you don't want to freeze and reheat. Okay, so while that's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and make the dumplings. That, once it comes to rolling boil, you're probably gonna want to start turning it down. It's right now on a medium low heat. So you're going to Bisquick. And I'm making really large dumplings in a large quantity of them. So just kind of, I'll put the recipe in the description and y'all can do the math. You're gonna need, I do probably about, 4 cups of Bisquick. The box for the dumplings calls for 2, I believe. Or the box for the Bisquick. If you get the ones that have the dumpling recipe on the back, it calls for 2 of them. Okay. We might be making more dough. Okay. I prefer to do this with gloves. Other people don't. This is, I don't have an exact measurement for it, but it does come down to science. We're going to season with some garlic. Not as much as what we put in the soup, just slightly dust the overlay surface. Then salt. I don't know if y'all can see that. Probably about that much salt. Maybe a little bit more, actually. And then pepper. I'm going to try and cup it in my hand. A good chunk of black pepper. From there, we're going to go ahead and lightly dust a cutting board with some Bisquick. Okay. So I'm going to add about a cup of water. Not water, milk. A cup of milk. Please to God, don't add water. Huh?
Milk or water instead of milk sounds disgusting. I'd sob.
Okay. And then from there, I'm just going to add splashes of it. You want to get the dumplings to a specific consistency, or you want to get the dough to a specific consistency. It should be sticky but not wet.
I'm emotional support for this part because I always mess up the dumplings. Don't be like me. Be like Jada.
Okay, so I made the dough too wet, so I'm going to add more Bisquick to it. Which
We
I've
looking
already
so
added too much.
yummy.
Is it starting to look thick?
It's looking delicious.
That's not the answer I wanted.
Yes.
Okay.
We're getting a nice color to it. The veggies are obviously cooking. So yum. I'm just here to add a little chaos to food for you.
Okay. The dough is like sticky, but it's not wet.
Sticky, not wet. Very important, or they get
Sticky,
like
not wet.
hard and
Yeah. Anything else, if they're too dry,
you want
they're just going to get dense and sad. If they're too wet, they're going to get soggy.
and they'll sink. They need to float. If your dumplings don't float during the cooking process,
Okay.
get rid of them.
So then we're going to make big dumplings.
Big like my love for this meal.
Basically, I make them a little bit smaller than the circumference of my palm.
A good cookie size.
That would still be a pretty large cookie.
Like a cooked cookie.
A cooked cookie size?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reference.
Cooked cookie size.
A cooked cookie?
Definitely not cookie dough amounts, unless you're making like a big boy. And that's the kind of dumplings for me.
Yeah.
Hey Jada, what does that red switch on the wall do?
That's this big light.
Oh, why is it red?
Don't ask me that. I have no idea. I just live here. Technically, these are called drop dumplings. When Mia's back there eating the soup, we're going to lightly dust the dumplings with a little bit of Bisquick.
And bring this up to boiling.
Bring the soup up to boiling. And let these rest for probably about 5-10 minutes, no longer than that. We're making, how many is this? 11 dumplings. So as you can see, they're pretty large. And they're gonna like double in size, would you say?
Yeah. At least.
So they're gonna at least double in size while cooking. Okay, so now that the soup is boiling, we're gonna get ready to drop our dumplings. Just be really careful. Try not to drop them on top of each other. And they should float back up to the top. So you see how they're floating back up. Sometimes they can take an extra minute or two. Other times they'll come up pretty instantly like these did.
They're coming up immediately this time. This is my favorite part.
Okay, so now it's 10 minutes off and then 10 minutes on. So 10 minutes without the lid on and then 10 minutes with the lid on. And then we let ours cook for probably about like 5-10 minutes afterwards, just to let them dry out because of how big they are. And they'll hold a lot of moisture whenever you have the lid on.
You're not really supposed to agitate them, but we needed to make sure they all can have room to float.
It's a lot easier whenever you have a bigger pot, but you do want something deep because you want the dumplings to be able to drop down and then float back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very important.
And it's also easier when you're cooking for smaller quantities.
Yeah.
This is like a 1 dumpling per person kind of meal. Okay, so now that it's been about 10 minutes, well, not about, it has been 10 minutes. We're going to put the lid on. And I am going to turn them down just a little bit so that it doesn't boil over or anything because our pot is quite full. So right now it's on a pretty low heat. And that's because it's on a boil at that temp, and so we don't need to keep it any higher. So let this cook with the lid on for about 10 minutes and then we'll be back to take it off. Okay, so after it's been 10 minutes, we're going to take the lid off. The dumplings are looking great, and we're going to let them dry out for probably about another 5 minutes. They're going to look pretty much exactly like this here. They are still pretty much a little wet, but they just need a little bit longer. Okay, so this is what the chicken and dumplings should look like when they're done. You should be able to like pinch off a part, and it should be all done, cooked, and fluffy on the inside. So now you're ready to serve them. Just be careful because they're going to be extremely hot. I told Mia her feet stinked, so... stank, smelled.
Apparently I stink, so I showered. I got a cool little shirt, set of waffle fries that should say dumplings.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited as well. Crack.
Perfect. It's perfect.
So good. tens of tens. You got to make this. If you don't, bye.
I will see y'all next time whenever we talk about, I don't know what yet. But thank you so much. Enjoy the warm food.